As you can tell, this is a desk I inherited. A friend of mine saw what my apartment was like before. Somehow, I don't know how to take feelings of pity or anything like that. He just said, this place has to get furnished. So, this is the workspace I have, the desk, and my way of working with it, particularly when it comes to multiple displays. I have some room given. There I go with the clutter. I'm making space for possibly a third monitor if I decide to. Now, logistically speaking, I just need a longer cord for the display cable, and I'm gonna try to keep this space nice and open. You can see there's the 10 key. I'll go into that real briefly, and you're gonna kind of see what I ended up with. As you can tell, the keyboard is not a full keyboard, but if you look at my tray, it is what it is. It's got room to fit those. And what makes this tray nice is that it can be elevated so I can stand up when I feel like it. I'm trying to get better at that. My little trinkets and mementos, yeah, there's some things falling down, but I like to keep certain things nice and tidy, trying to keep my floor space nice and tidy or nice and clear. But this keyboard, probably the best Value Village purchase I think I've ever gotten, given what it retails at. Doing some digging on that as well. And as you can see, oh, I gotta do something about that can of almonds. That's an empty can of almonds. So I remember yesterday's stream over at Midnight's Edge talking about who owns a physical drive. Well, it's true. Most people don't think to get enclosures because apparently the trend in computing cases, like this one here, is not to include room for 5 1/4 drive bays. They weren't exactly cheap, I'll admit. Now, to keep a long story short, as you guys saw, the trackball I have started using, I think, since Tuesday. I'm going to try to highlight. Well, I'll go in reverse order. So, I started using this I think over the weekend. I got this because I needed or wanted, I don't know if it's something I really needed, but I've been using left-handed mice probably in the last few years, only because something I learned about stroke victims and handedness, where left-handed people have an easier time learning the right versus right learning the left. I got this in linguistics of all coursework. And so, okay, well, I get a traditional wired mouse. Now, I forget if I got this brand new or used, but this is a left-handed trackball. It's from a company I just came across in the last couple of years, Elecom. So, as you can tell, this is a wireless trackball. Now, to its credit, if I can get has a traditional AA battery, which is convenient. I've gotten a pack of rechargeables, and I might have touched up on it in another video I may or may not published, but there came a point where I was a little frustrated knowing there's a chance my mouse can stop working all of a sudden. I didn't like that. I also have a bugaboo about, I think I might have mentioned this already, wireless peripherals like keyboards and mice. I just do. I've said it already. I'm not sure if I would use wireless keyboard and mouse as my daily driver. It has to have a very specific use. So going back to what's your end state, depends on what you need. And that's something I learned back in my computer repair days. They always say, what's the best machine? Well, what do you need to do? So in this case, I'm not looking to control things from afar. I suppose if I need to, I can use my wireless trackball. At the same time, I don't have the kind of screen and the resolution. Maybe if I set my scaling up to 150%, okay, I may have that where I can watch from maybe farther away than usual. But I'm very much a keyboard and mouse and desktop kind of guy. If I were to do things from a distance, I might invest in an actual decently sized television. But for now, for what I want to do, I have no need for wireless keyboard and a wireless mouse. I just don't. And besides, it forces me to be not lazy when it comes to if I want to fast forward, if I want to pause or anything. Again, I have my wireless mouse just in case. I also could program my Xbox 360 wireless controller. I think I had that. I could program it to control things from afar if I so need. I could do that too. Anyway, you guys saw, so this isn't so much a product review, just an experience of what I had out of the box with this. So the one thing I noticed when I started using this is the tracking was a little wonky. I couldn't use this on my table. Maybe the surface is rougher than necessary, but that just didn't sit well with me. And I realized, depending on where I started from, I ended up having to reposition myself, which is why I tend to prefer trackballs, or have begun to do so since I've been using trackballs exclusively. And to my dismay, chagrin, I couldn't find a corded variety of this bad boy. There are various corded varieties of the right-handed one, but not this. Which I do have two of them. Both are Elecom. Because unless I find it somewhere, Logitech stopped selling the corded version of their trackball, which I believe I still have the cordless version available, which I believe also runs off of AA batteries, if not AAA. It's just, again, the principle of using wired versus wireless periphery. Whatever floats your boat, whatever your purposes are, great. You get the device that works for you. Go into the keyboard. I wanted something that will fit my tray, which thankfully it did. And Gold Touch was a brand I think I was tipped by my sister-in-law about. She had a different version of variety, or at least the style was such that, okay, I was inspired. And the 10 key that you guys saw on top of the desk, I find a good compromise that I can use it even though my hand's a little stretched out, because I don't engage the 10 key unless I really need it for a very specific operation. If I'm doing intense number crunching, sure. Um, Plus, just a micro review about the trackball that I've been using for the last 2 days. As I said in my Twitter or Twix post, I'm still getting used to it, especially with the default layout, until I really feel the need to start remapping it. What I am finding is Chromium responds to certain button clicks, presses differently than Chrome. And in my time getting used to it, I'm going back to old school keyboard shortcuts in conjunction with various gestures with the trackball, which I think are kind of fun. Uh, as you saw, it's a Kensington. It's a name that's been around, not the biggest name, not the quote trusted name that you hear like Logitech, Microsoft, Razer, I think is the name. Um, who else? Corsair. Corsair has gotten in the periphery game keyboard. I've seen Corsair with their name on keyboards and mice and headsets. Um, but my thing has been ergonomic keyboards since I started getting to computing on my own, not and beyond just doing homework on them when I was a kid, and because I gamed a lot, I just was scared into certain eventualities, which is especially when my parents were like, "Don't be so close to the computer, uh, you might get carpal tunnel." I'm like, okay, so I I've been on that ergonomic train for a while. Knock on wood, I haven't been diagnosed with carpal tunnel, nor do I feel the effects of carpal tunnel according to. Now, my phone, on the other hand, that's different because I don't even know what's an ergonomically shaped phone, if there is, if that's even a possibility. You know, fit in the contour of, especially if I'm trying to do one-handed operations, because I'm holding the phone like this. Don't know if that's ideal. So, other than that, I'm just getting, as far as the trackball goes, I just like how most trackballs will have a scroll wheel like a traditional mouse does, but I can't believe this trackball, the Kensington one, as you saw next to my keyboard, according to whatever I looked up, it's been around since '07, and I'm glad they're still making it because the only thing, the only reason why I talk about looking into deeper customization options is because I'm using this in my Linux machine. If I boot into my Windows partition, or if I find a way to have the mouse software work with Wine, okay, cool. Other than that, it's just let me let me see if this works before I kill the idea of the default mapping. So there's that. All right. Well, as you can see, I'm very much a desktop person, and the monitors I have, I don't know if I want to go any bigger. I think I could, but again, it just comes down to working with the workspace I've got. So hopefully that helps in this idea of what's your end state. That I've gotten a good space, to my surprise, when I got the desk, that I can stand or sit however I want. So I can be active moving around. I can work with a natural keyboard, fitting. And also, if I need a 10 key off the spot, my keyboard has plenty of functions. I especially like the movement of my page up home and end keys on the left hand side of the keyboard. That's very convenient, as well as various functions that I could take advantage of if I so wanted. So that's that with my workspace. Thanks again, fellow skeptics. Oh, as always, drop a comment, because I always like to dialogue, exchange ideas, possible next video ideas. If you got a question, drop a comment. And for those who subscribe, thank you. As always, when you do subscribe, just make sure when you hit that bell, make sure it says all or personalized. That the only thing is, if you do personalized, you gotta tag me or I tag you. And so, if you just want general notifications of when something drops, just make sure you hit that all. All right. Well, peace out, and I'll catch you all on the other side.